They are often called trillionaires, yet their official wealth is nowhere near $1 trillion. So how does the British royal family live a life that feels larger than any billionaire empire, with palaces worth billions of dollars, ancient money machines still printing cash, and children who generate economic impact before they can even speak? Stay until the end to discover how royal power creates wealth without ownership, and why this system still works today. The trillionaire myth versus the real numbers. For decades, the British royal family has been described with one word that instantly captures attention: trillionaires. Headlines, social media, and documentaries often suggest a level of wealth so vast it feels untouchable, almost mythic. But when the numbers are placed on the table, the reality looks very different. As of 2025, the estimated total net worth of the British royal family stands at approximately $28 billion, a massive figure by any standard, yet nowhere near the $1 trillion label often attached to them. To understand why this myth exists, comparison is unavoidable. The House of Saud in Saudi Arabia controls an estimated $1.4 trillion, largely driven by oil revenues and global investments. The Al Sabah family of Kuwait holds around $360 billion, also rooted in energy wealth. Against these dynasties, Britain's royal wealth appears modest, and yet the lifestyle, influence, and global perception of the British monarchy often feel just as powerful, if not. The reason lies not in liquid cash, but in structure. The British royal family's wealth is anchored in assets that cannot be sold, cannot be liquidated, and cannot be casually inherited like private fortunes. Palaces worth billions of dollars, vast estates spread across hundreds of thousands of acres, and priceless cultural assets exist outside normal market logic. These are not properties listed on balance sheets. They are instruments of permanence. Their value is real, but it is locked into history and law. Another layer comes from access rather than ownership. While the royal family does not own national wealth, they operate within a system that provides direct access to public revenue streams. Through mechanisms like the sovereign grant, tens of millions of dollars flow annually to support royal operations, security, and infrastructure. This creates the impression of limitless resources, even though the money technically belongs to the state. Perhaps most overlooked is economic influence. The monarchy generates billions of dollars every year through tourism, branding, fashion, and global media exposure. Royal events, appearances, and symbolism drive spending far beyond the palace gates. This is not money sitting in royal bank accounts, but money moving through the economy because the institution exists. So the truth is this: the British royal family is not trillionaire rich in cash, but they preside over $1 trillion system. A system built on history, protected by law, and sustained by public belief. And once you understand that difference, the myth starts to make sense. What do you think truly matters more in the modern world, owning the money or controlling the system behind it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Assets you can't sell, palaces, art, and crown jewels. If cash alone defined power, the British royal family would never be mistaken for trillionaires, but their real strength sits inside assets that are untouchable, unsellable, and legally frozen in time. These are not investments meant to be flipped for profit. They are monuments of continuity, designed to outlive markets, governments, and even individual monarchs. Across the United Kingdom, the monarchy is linked to more than 30 palaces, castles, and royal residences, with a combined estimated value exceeding 15. At the center of global attention stands Buckingham Palace, a property valued at approximately $4.9 billion. Its scale is staggering: 775 rooms, 92 offices, 52 royal bedrooms, and 19 staterooms used for diplomacy and ceremonial power. Yet, despite its value, Buckingham Palace cannot be sold, mortgaged, or transferred like private real estate. It exists as a symbol, not a commodity. Beyond buildings, the monarchy controls one of the most valuable art holdings on Earth through the Royal Collection. This collection contains over 1 million individual items, including paintings, manuscripts, sculptures, and historic artifacts accumulated over more than 500 years. Among its most extraordinary holdings are 550 original drawings by Leonardo da Vinci, a group alone valued between $8 and $10 billion. These include anatomical studies, early engineering designs, and preparatory sketches that museums would pay any price to acquire, yet they will never appear at auction. Then there are the crown jewels, a concentration of symbolic wealth that borders on myth. Their total estimated value ranges from $4 to $8 billion, depending on valuation methods. The Cullinan diamond, originally weighing 3,106 carats, was cut into multiple stones now embedded in royal regalia, the combined value estimated at $2 billion. The Koh-i-Noor diamond, weighing 105.6 carats, carries an estimated value between $115 and $330 million, yet is surrounded by historical controversy and is worn only by female consorts. What unites all these assets is a single legal principle: they are held in trust for the nation. This means the monarch acts as custodian, not owner. These treasures cannot be sold to cover expenses, divided among heirs, or leveraged for private gain. Their value exists without liquidity. This is where perception diverges from reality. While billionaires measure wealth by what they can sell, the British monarchy derives power from what can never leave its control. These assets do not generate cash flow directly, but they generate something more durable: legitimacy, continuity, and global fascination. And in a world driven by attention and symbolism, that may be the most valuable currency of all. The royal effect: how children create billions. When people think about wealth, they usually picture oil fields, stock portfolios, or skyscrapers worth billions of dollars. Very few imagine that a child, barely old enough to speak, could quietly generate economic value rivaling multinational corporations. Yet within the British royal family, this is not a theory. It is a documented economic phenomenon. In 2016, a simple children's outfit worn by Prince George, priced at just $25, sold out globally in under 1 hour. There was no advertising campaign, no paid endorsement, and no contract behind it. Retail analysts later calculated that moments like this, repeated across years of public appearances, media coverage, and consumer imitation, translate into a projected lifetime economic impact of approximately $3 billion. That figure reflects spending driven by fashion, tourism, publishing, memorabilia, and global media attention linked to a single royal child. The effect becomes even more striking when applied to Princess Charlotte. Analysts estimate her long-term economic influence at around $4.1 billion, surpassing her older brother. The reason is not favoritism, but market size. Women's fashion, children's apparel, and lifestyle branding generate significantly higher consumer turnover than menswear. Each public appearance triggers measurable spikes in online searches, retail sales, and brand visibility, even when the items involved are modestly priced. This influence does not stop with the children. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become one of the most powerful economic drivers in British fashion. Known widely as the Kate effect, her clothing choices are credited with injecting more than $1.3 billion every year into the United Kingdom's fashion and retail sectors. Independent brands often experience immediate sellouts, international exposure, and long-term valuation growth after a single public appearance. None of this requires ownership, equity, or licensing fees. The value is created simply through presence. What makes this system extraordinary is its efficiency. The royal family does not manufacture products, hold brand shares, or negotiate sponsorship deals. Their economic power operates through symbolism and timing. Appearances are rare, controlled, and strategically framed, which amplifies demand. Scarcity creates desire, and desire moves money at scale. This reveals a deeper distinction between two types of wealth. Traditional billionaires rely on ownership wealth, measured by assets they can buy, sell. The British monarchy, by contrast, commands influence wealth, where value is generated externally by millions of people reacting to a single image. That influence compounds over time, flowing through industries rather than into private accounts. In this system, children are not heirs to money, they are anchors of economic gravity. Their value lies not in what they own, but in how global markets respond to their existence. And in a world driven by attention, few assets are more powerful than that. Ancient money machines, duchies and public money. If modern billionaires rely on startups, stock markets, or technology cycles, the British royal family operates something far older and far more stable. Hidden behind titles and ceremonies are financial engines that have been running continuously for more than 7 centuries. These engines do not depend on innovation or risk-taking, they depend on land, law, and time. At the center of this system stands the Duchy of Cornwall, now controlled by Prince William. Established in 1337, this estate covers approximately 135,000 acres across England and Wales. Its assets include farmland, residential rentals, commercial developments, and renewable energy projects. The total estimated value of the Duchy of Cornwall is $1.3 billion, and it generates roughly $30 million in annual income. This income flows directly to the Prince of Wales to fund private and official activities independent of taxpayer money. Crucially, the estate cannot be sold. It passes automatically to the next heir, ensuring continuity without Parallel to this is the Duchy of Lancaster, a financial structure created in 1265 and now associated with King Charles. The Duchy of Lancaster is valued at approximately $850 million and produces around $32 million every year. This revenue supports the monarch's private expenses, separate from state funding. Like Cornwall, Lancaster is legally protected from sale, division, or corporate take-up. Its purpose is not growth through speculation, but preservation through steady income. Then comes public money, delivered through a formal mechanism known as the Sovereign Grant. For the 2025-2026 fiscal year, this grant totals $168 million. The funds are used to cover official travel, palace maintenance, staff salaries, and security-related infrastructure. While controversial, this system replaces the direct use of royal lands for income, creating a predictable annual budget tied to national assets rather than personal wealth. Those national assets are anchored in the Crown Estate, one of the largest property portfolios in the United Kingdom. The Crown Estate is valued at approximately $20.5 billion and generates around $1.4 billion in net profit each year. These profits flow primarily to the UK Treasury, but a fixed percentage is returned to the monarchy through the sovereign grant. Major revenue sources include commercial real estate in London and large-scale offshore wind farms. What makes this system extraordinary is its resilience. No single royal controls it, no monarch can dismantle it. It survives political shifts, economic crisis, and even public criticism. While individuals come and go, the machinery remains intact, quietly producing tens of millions of dollars every year. This is not personal wealth in the modern sense. It is institutional wealth, engineered to last indefinitely. And once you see how these ancient money machines operate, it becomes clear why the British monarchy does not need to chase money. The money has been waiting for them for centuries. Daily life of a $1 trillion system. To understand why the British royal family feels richer than most billionaire dynasties, you have to look beyond balance sheets and step into their daily operation. This is not a household run on personal budgets. It is a lifestyle structured like a state-level corporation, where logistics, security, and precision are treated as core infrastructure. Transportation alone reveals the scale. The royal vehicle fleet is valued at approximately $17.6 million, consisting of armored limousines, ceremonial cars, and support vehicles maintained to exactification. The most iconic among them are the state Bentleys and Rolls-Royces, each costing around $1.5 million per vehicle. These cars are not luxury toys, they are engineered assets. Bulletproof glass, reinforced steel frames, sealed cabins, and custom interiors lined with lamb's wool are designed to reduce vibration and noise during long processions. Every detail prioritizes stability, security, and continuity of image. Beyond roads, air and rail travel add another layer of cost and complexity. Annual royal travel expenses, covering chartered aircraft, helicopters, and the royal train, reach approximately $5.3 million per year. These journeys are planned months in advance, coordinated with security services, and executed with military-level precision. The royal train itself is not symbolic nostalgia, it is a mobile headquarters. Its private carriages include bedrooms, meeting areas, and a bathroom with custom fittings and interior upgrades valued at roughly $20 million. Even the water level in the bath is measured to ensure stability while the train is in motion. What makes this system remarkable is how little the individuals inside it interact with money directly. The monarch does not require a passport, a driver's license, or personal identification documents. Expenses are handled through institutional channels, approved budgets, and pre-allocated funds. Daily life is insulated from transactions, removing friction and eliminating exposure to ordinary administrative tasks. This is not personal convenience, it is operational design. Security is embedded rather than visible, routes are adjusted, schedules are flexible, and contingencies are constant. Even clothing choices account for visibility, lighting, and symbolism. Outfits are prepared in multiples, allowing for rapid changes without disruption. Each public appearance functions like a product launch, supported by logistics teams, security planners, and communications staff. The result is a life that appears calm, even understated, while resting on an expensive and highly coordinated foundation. Nothing is accidental. Every movement, every vehicle, and every routine exists to preserve stability and authority. When viewed from the outside, it looks like tradition. From the inside, it operates like an enterprise with a budget in the tens of millions of dollars annually, optimized not for profit, but for permanence. This is why the British monarchy does not feel like a wealthy family. It feels like an institution that never clocks out. Crisis, reform, and the future of royal wealth. For centuries, the British monarchy survived because its privileges were rarely questioned. Tradition itself acted as protection. But in the modern era, wealth is no longer admired without scrutiny, and ancient systems are now judged by contemporary standards. This shift has placed the royal family under a level of pressure unseen in generations. The most visible fracture came with Prince Andrew's downfall. In 2025, King Charles III made a historic decision by stripping Andrew of his remaining royal titles, marking the first such action of its kind since 1970. At the center of public anger was Royal Lodge, a 30-room mansion on the Windsor estate. Andrew had secured a 75-year lease in 2003 for approximately $1.3 million, a figure that became a lightning rod during a national cost of living crisis. Although the arrangement was technically legal, public perception turned sharply against it. Eventually, Andrew was forced to vacate the property, relocating to a smaller residence on the Sandringham estate, privately funded and deliberately removed from public-facing royal life. At the same time, the monarchy faced mounting criticism over spending. Buckingham Palace, long regarded as the symbolic heart of royal power, entered a major renovation project with a total projected cost of $890 million, scheduled for completion in 2027. While officials emphasized the need for urgent electrical, plumbing, and fire safety upgrades, many questioned whether such an expense could be justified when public services faced funding constraints. The palace, once a residence, is increasingly repositioned as an administrative and ceremonial asset rather than a private home. These pressures pushed King Charles III towards structural reform. His strategy, often described as slimming down the monarchy, reduced the number of working royals and tightened access to public funds. Younger family members were encouraged to pursue financial independence rather than rely indefinitely on royal allowances. Subsidized housing arrangements were reviewed, and internal budgets were subjected to closer oversight. The goal was clear: preserve legitimacy by demonstrating restraint. Yet, the deeper challenge remains unresolved. The monarchy still receives public funding exceeding $168 million annually, excluding security costs that are not fully. Supporters argue that the institution generates over $2 billion each year in tourism, branding, and global influence. critics counter that symbolic value is no longer enough. The future of royal wealth now rests on a fragile balance between tradition and accountability. The system still functions, but belief is no longer automatic. And once belief weakens, even centuries-old institutions must adapt. Do you think these reforms are enough to protect the monarchy's future, or is this just the beginning of a much larger reckoning? Let me know what you think. When you step back and look at the full picture, three powerful lessons emerge from the British royal family's trillionaire-like existence. First, true wealth is not always about cash, because controlling assets worth tens of billions of dollars, from palaces to duchies, can be far more powerful than owning money outright. Second, influence can outperform ownership, as royal children and public appearances generate billions of dollars in economic value without selling a single product. Third, systems beat individuals, since structures built more than 700 years ago still produce tens of millions of dollars every year with remarkable stability. This is why the British monarchy survives in the modern world, not because of personal riches, but because of a carefully engineered financial ecosystem that blends history, law, and national identity. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like and subscribe to Billionaire Story and stay with us, because part 2 will reveal how royal privileges, tax structures, and public money quietly protect this wealth behind the scenes in ways most people never notice.